Hello! It is Sunday, April 5th, and welcome to Elevate Online. My name is Pastor Tim, or PT for you real ones out there. But first, I have a question. Do you like superheroes? I know, it's a random, weird question to begin asking you on a Sunday morning service, but I do. I like superheroes. In fact, my favorite one is Superman. Look, I know I can hear it already. Oh, Superman's too good, he's too great. That's the point. He's a great, amazing superhero who has all the powers, and not just the powers, but he also has morality. And all you Batman fans out there who say, oh, well, Batman's beat him, like 2 times out of all of the entirety of the comics. I mean, if Superman is faster than a speeding bullet, then logically speaking, he's faster than anything that Batman can throw at him, including kryptonite bullets. Probably gonna lose a few viewers for that. But however, with all of that being said, some of the most interesting heroes out there are telepaths. What are telepaths? I'm glad you asked. Telepaths are heroes that can look and read minds and sometimes even control minds.
Don't mess with my mind!
Now, I have some heroes, like I have some examples. Let me, here, 1 second. You got people like Captain Comet, the Chief, Darkseid, big bad guy. I would even say more dangerous than Thanos. Oh, here's a good one. Martian Manhunter. You never heard of him? Go look him up. He's pretty cool. So why are we talking about superheroes and telepathy? Because one of the unique aspects about this quarantine, this stay-at-home business that's going on around us, is we now have a lot of time in our own heads. I mean, think about it. We now have time where we're just sitting at home doing very little. There's only so many chores you can do, so many activities that you can do inside your own home. And so therefore, you're gonna have more time alone, which means you're gonna have more time inside of your own head. This can be a good thing, but sometimes this is not always the greatest thing ever. I think sometimes when we have too much time on our hands and we decide to get into our own heads, we can fall down some really bad paths. By the way, have you ever noticed that you have 3 voices? The voice that people hear, your voice that you hear, and then you have that little voice when you're sitting down reading and you hear a voice as you're reading? Whenever we have a lot of time to ourselves, we begin to have a lot of meta experiences. What is meta? Great question, I'm glad you asked. Meta, a prefix added to the name of something that consciously references or comments upon its own subject or features. Basically, it means inward thoughts. Now that we're spending a lot of time to ourselves, we're going to have more and more meta experiences where we are now reflecting on the inside, and sometimes that's not always the greatest thing. Sometimes, if we're not prepared, we end up going down these paths of negative meta experiences. It's one of those bad paths that we can fall down towards when we have these meta experiences is feeling alone. So here's a question for you. Have you ever felt alone? You're probably thinking, yes, Pastor Tim. Of course I felt alone. I'm alone right now. I think all of us right now have a lot more alone time than we used to have. Today, I want to talk about battling some inner thoughts, some inner voices. One of the lies that comes from the enemy during times of isolation like we're in is that you're alone, that no one cares about us, that no one is thinking about us, that no one wants us. And today I want to kind of fight against that. I want to fight against that thought. I want to fight against that train of belief that you're all alone, because you're not. Today, the topic is we do this together. Jessica has a lot of books. Okay, so the main point for today is we do this together. What is this? This is life. This is this circumstance. This is this quarantine. This is this virus. This is everything that you can think of. We need to be doing this together. Whatever this is for you, we need to do it together. In order for us to survive mentally, emotionally, even to a degree spiritually, we need to do this together. We're going to get this lesson started with some scripture. You can follow along, or you can just read along with me. So here we go. Mark chapter 3, starting in verse 7. Jesus and his disciples went away to Lake Galilee, and a large crowd followed him. They had come from Galilee, from Judea, from Jerusalem, from the territory of Idumea. Guys, I'm not a scholar. I can't. From the territory on the east side of Jordan, and from the region round the cities of Tyre and Sidon. All these people came to Jesus because they had heard of the things he was doing. The crowd was so large that Jesus told his disciples to get a boat ready for him so that the people would not crush him. When Jesus went up a hill and called to himself the men he wanted, they came to him, and he chose 12, whom he named apostles. I have chosen you to be with me, he told them. I will also send you out to preach, and you will have authority to drive out demons. These are the 12 he chose. Simon, Jesus gave him the name Peter. James and his brother John, the sons of Zebedee. Jesus gave them the name Boanerges, which means men of thunder. Andrew, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Patriot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. So today I want to give you 3 reasons why we need to do this together. Number 1, you need friends. You need friends. You need friends. Here's a question. Do you want to be like Jesus? Generally, most people would answer yes. People like Jesus. I mean, Jesus is pretty great. So if that's the case, if the answer to your question is yes, I want to be like Jesus, then we need to have friends. Why? Because Jesus had friends. Clean, simple, there's no looking around and, oh, well, kind of, sort of. No, Jesus had friends. If God himself in flesh chose to have friends, then we need to choose to have friends. Point number 2, why we need to do this together. You need the right friends. I don't know if you know this, but God actually has a lot to say about choosing the right friends. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20. Become wise by walking with the wise, hang out with fools, and watch your life fall to pieces. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Do not be fooled, bad companions ruin good character. Luke 6:31. Do for others just what you want them to do for you. And lastly, Proverbs 22:24. Don't hang out with angry people. Don't keep company with hotheads. Bad temper is contagious. Don't get infected. The point behind all this is that God actually cares who you spend your time with. Not because God is a big bad bully who just doesn't want you to hang out with certain people. It's because, like some of these scriptures show, some bad things can really happen to you if you choose to spend time with the wrong people. Here's what I mean. Your choices often reveal your friendships. When I was in high school, look at that hair. I was dating a girl. We had been dating for a while, and we had just broken up. I decided in that moment to call one of my best friends at the time. I call him, and I'm sad, and I'm upset, and all these different things. He basically gave me some really great advice. Long story short, he reminded me that this is not the end. She's not your wife, and it's okay to move on. And he told me a lot of great things about how, yes, this is going to hurt for a little while, but just keep moving forward, keep praying, keep talking to God, and this too shall pass. I remember back in high school, there were a lot of people who had breakups, but yet because of their friends, they chose to do really stupid things. Some chose to talk trash about their exes. Some chose to spread rumors. Some chose to just do a lot of really bad things because they were heartbroken. And it made me realize today that because I had good friends, I made good choices. And because I had friends in my life that I knew I could trust, and because they would keep me accountable and keep me trustworthy and honest and kind and remind me that I am a son of God and that I need to be kind and loving towards people, that I ended up making really great decisions and choices. But that was because I chose to have the right friends. It really comes down to this simple and powerful point, is that your relationships will either grow you or destroy you. So you might be asking, Pastor Tim, who are the right friends? Glad you asked. I have some ways that you should choose and ways that you should not choose your friends. Number one, choose from acceptance, not for acceptance. I saw this quote the other day from a guy named Alex Wilson. He said, "Don't change who you are to be accepted, change who you need to be accepted by." In other words, if you go into friendships to be accepted, you're going in for the really wrong reasons. You need to know that first and foremost, you are accepted by your God. When you choose to love Him and choose to follow Him, you're accepted by Him. Another way of looking at this is, do your friends accept who you are? Do they accept your beliefs? Do they accept your faith in Jesus? Do they accept who you choose to be? Number two, choose for purposefulness, not for closeness. Let me say it like this. You shouldn't want to have friends just to be close to them. At the end of the day, your friends need to have purpose, and also you need to have a purpose for being friends with them. Are they growing you? Are they changing you for the better? Are they bringing you closer to Jesus? These are things that are purposeful that you need to consider when choosing your friends. Number three, choose friends that forgive and not out of spitefulness. We need to live a life of forgiveness. And so therefore, if we're going to live that life, we need to choose to surround ourselves with people who live that out. Choose for inspiration, not out of desperation. In other words, we need to choose friends that inspire us to do better, to become better Christians, become better human beings, to love better, to hope better. Don't find friends out of desperation, find it from inspiration. And lastly, I kind of already touched on this, but we need to choose our friends for growth and not from comfortability. In other words, we need to choose friends that will challenge us, that will help us stretch ourselves and to become better at what we do and to not just stay the same. Choose friends that are going to grow you, not just to be comfortable. All right, last reason why we need to do this together. Jesus said in a loud voice, "Whoever believes in me believes not only in me, but also in him who sent me. Whoever sees me sees also him who sent me. I have come into the world as light, so that everyone who believes in me should not remain in the darkness. For if anyone hears my message and does not obey it, I will not judge him. I came not to judge the world, but to save it." The point is, with this scripture and everything all together, everything that we're wrapping up, everything that we're talking about, why we need to do this together, ultimately, we all need Jesus. With Jesus comes light, comes hope, comes inspiration, comes forgiveness, comes direction, comes purposefulness, comes all the things that we need right now. We need some hope in our lives. We need a light. I think we could all agree that because of this virus and because of everything that's going on, the world is a little dimmer. That doesn't mean all hope is lost, but rather this is now an opportunity for us to be that light, to be the ambassadors, to be the beacon of hope and love and truth and kindness and justice and forgiveness and all these things. We have this opportunity right now to be all those things. It means living out for Jesus. It means staying connected with people. It means praying for people. It means giving hope for people. It means diving more into our scriptures and into our Bible and to be praying and worshiping more. It means that we have an opportunity now to love people both behind our doors but also on the internet. So with all that being said, I love each and every single one of you. I'm glad that you chose to be here with me today. I can't wait to see you again. Have a fantastic week. Hope to hear from you soon. Love you. Adios.